Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. We'll continue from where we stopped yesterday. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. A narration about Brahma-Jnana concluded, chapter 17, Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi Sai Baba. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra. My most humble obeisance, I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. We are going to continue from verse 83. One may renounce the world and, in the interest of one's own spiritual progress, retire to the solitary hills and dales in silent meditation. Many are such saints who only achieve their own selfish ends or their own spiritual end. But of what use are they to others? But Sai Baba was not a mahant of that type. Without relations and friends, without kith and kin, a home or wife, sons and family, he yet remained in the world. Wow, this is extremely profound and a powerful truth about who is a great saint and who is a great master. Yesterday, where we stopped and Baba was discussing about how you have to be as an individual to attain Brahma-Jnana. And he very clearly also iterated one very important point. If you cannot offer Guru Dakshina, don't even expect Brahma-Jnana, because until you're so greedy about I, me, myself, you're never going to get on the path of spirituality itself. So forget about Brahma-Jnana. Brahma-Jnana is way too far. And also we discussed how difficult it is to evolve on the path of spirituality. We also discussed in the chapter where Baba is narrating the importance of human birth. Why is this body given to us? See, this body is given to us for two purposes. The first most important and the primary purpose of this human birth is to attain the divine. See, be it God or be it demon, they will have to be born as a human being and go through that process of purifying their heart, mind, meeting a guru, surrendering unto them, and then taking, the guidelines and following the path laid down by the guru to attain the divine, okay, to attain the spiritual way. And actually, in one of the verses, it was mentioned that how the wise man or somebody who is a great being, he seeks for a long human birth. Why? Because he cares about his spiritual way. And the second purpose, the most important purpose of human birth is we have to serve the humankind. Service unto the humankind is extremely important. And that is another important purpose. We are not born to enjoy sensual pleasures and get lost in the desires of worldly desires and becoming I, me, myself, greedy, haughty, arrogance, egoistic, you name it, every other thing that a human being is filled with. We have to go beyond all these things. We have to transcend all that and then evolve on the path of spirituality. And that is when you'll understand the purpose of your birth. Why have you taken this human birth? That is called Swadharma. Lord Shri Krishna has imparted this esoteric knowledge, the teachings in Bhagavad Gita, how you have to do your Swadharma. That is why he's teaching Arjuna to saying that lift your bow and arrow and shoot. Okay, he has to fight the war. He cannot say I don't want to. You cannot say that you will not do your duties. There is a purpose of your human birth, and fulfilling that fulfilling that purpose is extremely important. So this is what we have discussed so far. But coming back to what Baba is saying is extremely important. Let us understand here. They're saying one may renounce the world and interest of his own spiritual progress, retire to the solitary hills and dales in silent meditation. Many are such saints who only achieve their own selfish ends or their own spiritual end. But of what use are they to others? This is extremely important. You know, if you look at, there are a lot of people in Himalayas, or they go to various parts of this world. They go into solitude. They want to they want to sit in a cave and meditate for many years. Do so many different things. They completely disconnect from the material world, and they're just there and wanting to attain their own spiritual will, which is mentioned. It is very selfish. You cannot be a selfish being. Only you care about your spiritual weal. We are here so that we can serve this this entire universe. We have to serve this world, the creation. So he's saying, but of what use are they to others? If you're not useful in this world, then your human birth is waste. Yeah, okay, spiritual wheel is one aspect, but beyond that, you are no use. It's not only you have to attain your spiritual wheel, but you have also you have to also do your purpose. I mean, serve your purpose. If you're not doing that, then you're not useful to this humankind. And Lord Shri Krishna has said this very clearly. We must serve selflessly and wear ourselves out for the good and well-being of this entire universe, this creation. He who serves not just me, when he serves my universe, he's actually doing service unto me. These are the words of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So don't take it so lightly. It is extremely important in whatever capacity that we do service unto this humankind. Forget not this. So here they are saying, but Sai Baba was not a Mahant of that type. He was without relations and friends, without kith and kin, a home or wife, sons and family. Yet he remained in the world. Baba was serving the humankind. People were coming, whether it is a sinner, whether it is a person who's wearied, suffering, whoever, everybody were coming to Baba, and he was serving everyone. That is the greatness of a real master. So know this, the highest of the gurus will always serve the humankind in whatever capacity. They will absolve their karmas, they'll redeem their pain, they will grant them whatever they want, and most importantly, impart the most esoteric knowledge, the truth about what is spirituality all about, who is God, why should we attain God, why God realization is important, what is the purpose of being in spiritual, and how to evolve on the path of love and devotion. This is what they keep teaching. How, and they put all the unrighteous people on the path of righteousness. They put dharma, they establish dharma. When they manifest on this planet earth, the whole world is gone on the path of adharma. So they establish the dharma. This is what they come for, and their job is not small. It is humongous. They put arduous effort and wear themselves out. So know that such is a great being. This is what it means here. Collecting from door to door the food placed on his palm at 5 households, living under a tree all the 24 hours, with his scant worldly possessions spread around, he was teaching people how to conduct themselves in life. Absolutely, just exactly what I explained now. You take any great masters, be it Adi Shankaracharya, be it Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji, Sai Baba, you take everybody else, no, they were all serving a purpose, including Tukaram Maharaj. You know what Tukaram Maharaj did? He actually there was a time when there was a drought at a phase, at a phase during his period. He had all the wealth, and he came and he just took everything and gave away to the people, and then he became himself a beggar. He didn't have food to eat. His family became extremely poor. This is how the great beings work. They give everything away. So the point I'm trying to tell here is that the highest of the divine beings, the great masters, are not coveting anything, or they're not only interested in their own self-realization. So they get detached from this world, or they go and sit somewhere in seclusion. No, they have a purpose. They come for a specific job, and they do it absolutely to the highest perfection. That is why these great divine beings are called perfect being. Nobody else is perfect, only God alone is perfect. We all can only strive for perfection. We can never become perfect. So that is what is mentioned here. So know that if the way to understand or recognize a great master is the way he lives. He leads by example. He lives and demonstrate to the world how we need to be. So he's a role model for the rest of the world, who will look up to him and follow his path. That is what he sets when he comes on this planet earth. Rare indeed are such magnanimous saints in this world. who have attained self-realization and yet to wear themselves out for the spiritual welfare of others. Absolutely true. They all care about only the spiritual progress of every individual. Though they grant everything, they take away their pains, they do everything, but they put them on the path of dharma. I see my Krishna Guruji so sweetly. There are a lot of people who come to him, whether he doesn't care about with what intention they come or why they come, and he doesn't even question how they behave, what they do. It doesn't matter to him. He only looks at the divine being within them. He's not looking at the outer shell. So no matter whatever the person has, when they come in front of the guru, they have to shed off all their kanchukas that they have. Forget about that as well. But he puts them on their path. He shows them a way how to live, how to go about in this world. He never denies anybody the knowledge. See, knowledge, he can teach, but if you don't have a pure heart, it'll all go bouncer. It's going to go above your head. It's never going to go within. This is the truth. So the divine master is always overflowing with knowledge, love, compassion, you name it. He's filled with abundance. He's that athanga sagar, limitless ocean. How much can you take, and what can you take from that ocean? Even if you keep taking, it's always going to be overflowing. That is who they are, and that is the sweetness they bring, and that is what they're teaching to the world, how to live. I was watching a very beautiful video which my Guruji was listening to, and he said, you must listen to this video. There's a very nice person, I think very accomplished being called Wayne Dyer. I was listening to one of his talks. In that, he says a very interesting thing. He says, um, what is abundance? He's talking about how do you have abundance. See, if you don't have, you're always going to seek. But what is abundance in reality, and how do you get everything in abundance? It is only when you give can you get. Okay, this is the law of universe. Nobody can change. And also, please know that whatever you have is only because of your karma. Everything is only associated with karma alone. Anything that you have in this world. So, in that, he says, today, what is that we can give in abundance? We have goodness, love, compassion, kindness, to be loving. All these are qualities which a man has in abundance. But why is that today we are not giving it? We have become such a miserable and mean characters. When you give love, you will get love back in abundance. But are we giving these qualities, which is priceless? It's not even having a price tag, or you're not buying it from anywhere. It is within you. But can you pass on that? Today the world requires that. And how much can you give? You can give as many times as possible. That is what he was saying. How profound a truth this is. It is not, you don't have to earn any money to give kindness. You don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to have a huge $1 million to give goodness to anyone. No, it doesn't cost that at all. It doesn't cost a dime. So these are the things which you can give. I don't know, there's no measurement to it. You can give immeasurably, but in abundance it is there. It is overflowing. You are that Athanga Sagar. But why is that you can't give? Today we all become very mean and selfish human beings. That is why these sages and saints, the divine Almighty, manifest in the form of these great masters so that they can come and teach the world how to live a righteous life. So this is the real meaning of abundance. People think abundance means hoarding massive wealth, or coveting I don't know, conglomerates, or you name it, having $1 billion in your bank account, and only then you think you will give some handouts of few hundred thousands. No, not at all. This abundance is this priceless treasure that you have within you. You can give it in abundance. No matter how much you give, it is still going to overflow. That is the law of nature. The more you give, the more you get. It's same thing, whether it is knowledge, whether it is love, goodness, whatever that you give to this universe, you will get back much more than that, because the universe know you're serving this entire creation selflessly. You're not hoarding it within yourself. You're not hoarding in your bank accounts, or you're not keeping it for a day, for a rainy day. We say, no, we have to save it for a rainy day. Come on, we don't know when the rainy day is there. Even you're not even sure about whether you're alive tomorrow or not. So what are you saving for a rainy day? Just have faith. We should live our life like a bird who only goes and gets food only for that day. So this is how we have to become, minimalistic, and we have to live a simple life. Why do we need to hoard? Why do we want so many things? This is what, these real masters come and teach us. They set an example for the world to follow. Baba was only wearing a kafni. It was all torn. He didn't have any clothes. Whatever people gave, he just accepted it graciously. He did not have anything, and that is what here it's mentioned. He collecting from door to door the food placed on his palm at 5 households, living under a small, living under a tree all the 24 hours with his scant worldly possessions. Scant means what? Hardly he had any possession in this world, and spread around. He was teaching the people how to conduct themselves in this world. This is what they come and do. I hope you understand why this great master is extremely important. And when you get the grace of such a guru, please go hold at his feet and learn something from him. It will redeem you from all your, that muck life that you're living in. It will redeem you of all your sins. It will give you a release from cycle of birth and death. Please go do that, and study the scriptures, listen to the satsangs. It's extremely important. In the next few verses you will hear Baba saying this, why it is important, what a narrator is doing. Like, I'm today reading along with you and you're listening to this satsang. We both are in together purifying ourselves. How it is such an important service, Baba will talk about it. Rare indeed are such magnanimous saints in this world who have attained self-realization and yet wear themselves out for spiritual welfare of others. Blessed is that country, blessed the family, blessed are those pure-hearted parents, and blessed the sacred womb that gave birth to this precious gem. Oh my God, how beautiful it is, how powerful. They are doing good to everybody by manifesting, by being born. He's saying, blessed is that country where the divine master lives. Today I'm so proud to say, I'm an Indian. Why? Because Lord Shri Krishna, to Buddha, to Mirabai, to Kabir, to Tukharam, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji, Adi Shankaracharya, you name it, Sri Ram, the endless divine beings have taken birth on this holy land. India is a land, it's a holy land, it's a place of holiness. And today, what are we doing with our culture and religion and tradition? We have thrown it out of window, and we have taken into adapting or getting all the other Western culture in place. Why is that? Why can't you follow your tradition? Please know how important it is. Blessed is the country where these great divine beings manifest. How many gurus, right from Dattatreya in different manifestations, in the 9 Dasha avatars of Lord Shri Krishna, you name it, everybody were manifested in our holy land called India, actually Bharat. That is who we are. We are people from Sanatan Dharma. We are not Hindu. Hindu is just a name given to us because we I think the Britishers, they called, okay, when you're crossing the Hindu Kush mountain, they said, oh, you're a Hindu who lives there. No, we are Sanatan Dharma, who treats everybody in lovingly. We follow brotherhood. That is what we are. We are kindness personified beings. Why have we forgotten our roots? Why have we gone into adapting something whom we are not? We are not that. Today we need to appreciate our culture. Why are we not doing this? Why do we need to wear imported clothes? Why do we need to encourage some other country becoming wealthy? Please make your country rich and make your land proud of who you are. It has given you everything. You're born here. Be loyal. Show a little bit of loyalty to your own mother country. Bless the family. Blessed is that family where they are manifesting, they are born. But even the family doesn't value that. They don't even understand. And they treat these divine beings in a very bad manner. They think that, oh, he's my husband, he's my father, he's something. They treat him like a dirt and servant. This is what we have become into. Be very careful how you treat this great being. They do a favor to you by taking birth in that family. They're actually blessing you, they're redeeming you. Please value their birth. Blessed are those pure-hearted parents from whose womb you're born. That's you've done such a great, we say, punya. Punya means something good for them by by being born out of their womb. Blessed are those parents. and they don't value it. They think, oh, she's my daughter, he's my son. They do not understand. Adi Shankaracharya did a very beautiful thing. When he was 8 years old, he said to his mother that he wants to take sannyasa and go away. But his mother, tried to be emotional, and she tried to stop him. And then one day, when he was having his bath, he just had to create a delusion that, like, the crocodile is taking him away and he's going to die, something like that. And then tells that, if I have to be back, will you, if I should not die, then you will have to agree that I will go. And then by doing that, he makes his mother give him that permission, and then only he could go on his spiritual journey. And these bodily parents become a big obstacle. They think it is their birthright to own you just because they've given birth to this body. You're born from their womb. What they don't seem to understand is they are already blessed because you're born out of their womb. These great beings are born out of their womb. And then, Adi Shankaracharya then promised his mother that he will come and meet her before his death. Before her death. So this is what the divine masters do. My Guruji, very sweet. I have to tell you this. He was living in Goa for 3 years. Last year, we decided that we will move back to Bangalore. And he moved. I was in Singapore. I decided I want to live with my guru. I moved with him, and wherever my guru lives, that is an ashram. So we rented a place, as I think I keep telling this, we are living here in Krishna ashram. And so I think he was all knowing. He knows his mother is going to not be anymore. So that last period, he was there back for his mother. Though he's not going to physically go and be with her or take care. Yeah, he's going to visit her. He was not even he personally wouldn't take care. People around him were taking care, but she was there. He was just going and meeting. And it so happened that December, right after Lord Dattatreya's Jayanti, she had the Mahaprasad, and right after that, a day later, very beautifully, on Thursday, she has been a great devotee of Sai Baba herself, and on that day she peacefully passed away in her sleep. Was how sweet is that. He was there at before she could die. He was very much with her. This is how the divine beings work, and it's very sweet to experience this, what I'm reading here. And I have learned in many other scriptures of many other life stories of the great masters. They come back at that moment in time to that family to give them that much, that blessing, that grace, whatever that is required. But people do not understand how great it is. They always try to own, possess. You can't possess anybody, not the divine beings, because they're avaduta. They're free. They're eternally free. Even Lord Shri Krishna, though he was married to 16,100, 108 wives. It is said like that, but there's a different story altogether, which I will talk another day. So when he was married to so many wives, and he was living in 16,100 palaces he had for his entire family in Dwaraka, all of that. But you know what? Lord Shri Krishna was the perfect celibate. Why? Because he was never there. He was detached. He was the highest detached being. How there's a reference given. Lord Shri Krishna lives like a lotus leaf. What does that mean? The lotus leaf is untouched by the water on it. Exactly how Lord Shri Krishna lived. He is there, yet he is only lost in himself. Similarly, these great masters, they are not associated with anybody. Whether it is their own family member, they do not favor anybody. Okay, you need to understand this. Yeah, we all accuse our masters saying, oh, you favor your family. No, it appears like that. Nobody favors any of their family, but what here is mentioned is, yes, it is a blessing that they have taken that body, so they have certain they owe certain things, and they only fulfill that aspect. Beyond that, they don't favor anybody. Their favorism is to their disciples and devotees, but you have to be the real, the true disciple, whom they can confer that blessings. Everybody they will not grant. Please note that the deservability is a very important factor. I think we did in the previous verse. And if you do not recollect, please go listen to my satsang once again. And bless the sacred womb that gave birth to this precious gem. Absolutely. We do service. That mother, her life itself is blessed because she is given birth to this precious gem. But they don't understand. They think they just own us, unfortunately. They don't know what good they have done. It is the grace of the divine that they have taken birth, but people underestimate, undervalue that, and they treat you very badly. It's very sad. I've seen how the gurus get treated in that bodily family's life. It's really, really sad. Without any effort, the philosopher's stone came in their hands, but many mistook it for an ordinary stone and threw it away. For a long time, no one in Shirdi recognized the true worth of this great divinity. Oh my God, this is such a true statement, you know. Without any effort, the philosopher's stone came in their hands, but many mistook it for an ordinary stone. This is very true. You know, it's very unfortunate. This great master is born in a certain, manifest in a certain family, but that family people do not understand who this philosopher's stone is. They think, oh, he's ordinary human being. He's my dad, he's my husband, you know, he's my son, that he's my uncle, you name it. That's how people look at it. He's my brother. But do you understand who he is? And they treat him very ordinarily. Very unfortunate. You know, so sad I feel that these people do not recognize who they have in their life. So please, when you get this grace, you know, never treat any such master in any ordinary manner, because it is a blessing for them to be with you. Even today, I will say this, you know, I'm very grateful to my Krishna Guruji for giving me this opportunity to serve him and be with him. I know under his tutelage, I'm learning. He's teaching me. I am blessed. I am so blessed. You know, rare is such opportunity that you get where you can serve your master, you can learn under him, you can be with him. And I'm very, very grateful. I have no words to describe how thankful I am to my master. And threw it away. And yes, they discard it. They don't care about it. They say, you please get out. I don't want you in my life. This is the kind of world, this is the people they are. It is very sad that we don't value what we have. For a long time, no one in Shirdi recognized the true worth of this great divinity. Absolutely. Nobody recognizes Sai Baba also. They did not recognize for a long time. Yeah, people started recognizing when Baba started doing miracles. He was giving them what they want. He was curing diseases and so many things. You know, when Baba started performing miracles, people came to him. This is how the material worldly people are, you know, very matlabi, selfish to the core. They're so greedy. They always want something. But they don't care about the divine being. Do you say, Baba, what can I give you? Can I offer you? Can I serve you? No, it doesn't come. But there are very few. Highest of his devotees, very, very few are blessed who will take care of the divine being, and even not with the ego, but with their devotion. And the Lord Almighty themselves make that arrangements. So to the chosen ones who will be able to serve them in that ability, and they train them so that they can carry forward their knowledge, their teachings, their legacy, whatever that is. So they will appoint a person to take forward everything. It is very important. Even every time I say the stories of my Guruji, it is important because his life stories are so important. And actually, one of the verses Baba will mention how it is so important to talk the stories and glories about these great masters, what they did, because everything is a Leela. See, even when we say we don't value or anything, this is told because you need to understand the significance and importance of these beings. And number two is, it is everything that is happening around them is a beautiful Leela. And you need to look at it as a play. And that is why we say Lord Shri Krishna is the Rasika. He performed the Ras Leela, the highest enjoyer of everything. And so sweet to listen to his stories. You know, Lord Shri Krishna's entire life stories is taught in Srimad Bhagavatam. You know how sweet it is? What all Leelas he's done? He's so beautiful. He's so great. You need to praise him. You need to understand his powers. That is what they're saying. Magnanimous are these beings. You cannot even fathom, how great and how beautiful they are. You know, all these words are adjectives. I can't describe sufficiently enough. Why? Because no words can describe the depth and the breadth of this divine being. That's why we say supreme. But supreme is still a word. It still doesn't describe how supreme they are. Without any effort, okay, this I finished. He was like a priceless gem lying in a dung heap, which is discovered by children who kick and throw it about, trampling over it as if it is a stone. This is what we do. This is how we treat a great master. But you know what? When somebody is wearing an orange color ochre clothes, and they'll wear this vibhuti and what a chandan and all this glam, and then nice deck up and a costume, we'll go and bow down at them. But when you look at an ordinary person, you think, oh, he's such an ordinary looking. I don't know who he is. He looks like a beggar. This is how we treat a divine master. So please recognize the mark of a divine master. He's always going to be extremely simple. He's never going to reveal himself. He's always incognito. And that ordinary appearance of his is his Maya. Because you need to become worthy of knowing Lord Sri Krishna or these great divine beings. They will never reveal themselves to you till you don't deserve that. Okay, so you need to first become deserving, and they will only evaluate you whether you are a deserving candidate or not, and then only they'll grant that grace. Then only they will show or reveal themselves. It is not so easy to recognize or even have the glimpse of who they are. They are not going to give you any experience, and that is why I keep telling, as is your faith, so are your experiences. So don't expect anything miracle without you yourself having that absolute faith and conviction in them. So in this way, that fond seeker of Brahman felt gratified on receiving Baba's blessings. We all go the same way. When the path is difficult, we just abandon it. Oh my God, this is again very true. I'm going to reread this, okay? So in this way, that fond seeker of Brahman felt gratified on receiving Baba's blessing. We all go the same way. When the path is difficult, we just abandon it. See, people cannot take sufferings. People cannot take those tough tests. They just all want it easy. They don't want to hurt their body. They feel, oh, something is happening when small things shouldn't happen. They'll start feeling miserable. They just cannot take the pain. But can you imagine, these great masters wear themselves out so much? I think in one of the chapters you will see, Baba putting his hand in the duni, in the burning fire. He burns his entire hand just to save one child. You will hear about this beautiful story. Similar is the case with my Guruji. How at one point in time somebody had somebody very dear, no, someone known to him had got a paralysis attack, and he know that he's all knowing. Okay, we were in another country in Malaysia completely. We were actually returning, and suddenly he says, my hand is becoming numb, my fingers are not working, my face is becoming numb. I was so scared. I'm like, what is happening to you, Guruji? Why is this? And then he gets a message that one of a distant relative is sick and they are suffering from a paralysis attack, and immediately that was affecting him, which means he has taken that on him just to redeem this person. That is his compassion. I was literally in tears. Even today, the two fingers and this whole portion of my Guruji's face doesn't function. It's in that numb state. It's paralyzed. That whatever that impact it had. This is what he does. And we went to one of his again, somebody known, someone he knows, and he just went to bless this girl. So we went to her house, and I don't know what bad or evil was there. And when he went and came back, I mean, he fell literally on that street, and it hurt him a little more. He would have cracked his head. Oh my God, I hated that entire trip. I couldn't see how my Guruji suffers for others. He takes their pains and wears himself out. But all these ungrateful creatures today don't even remember my Guruji. They don't even, they're not even thankful about what he does. They get and then they just vanish. This is how we human beings are. So what I'm telling here is, and even what Baba is saying, don't be that. Be grateful, be thankful, and please respect and have that gratitude within you. You will go places. Don't become this mean human being. You are not going to achieve anything in this world. Forget spirituality. That is so not going to come to you at all. So in this way, that fonts, so long as there is enjoyment of sense experiences such as the sound of words, sensations of touch, inhaling of fragrance, seeing the external aspect of things, it is not possible to restrain the senses. And unless the senses are restrained, the natural detachment from sensual pleasures, the realization of the true self or knowledge about its nature is also impossible. I think every single chapter Baba is narrating, I think in this he must have said 1,000,000 times. Sorry, it's an exaggeration. What I'm trying to say is he's saying the same thing over and over and over and again. That till you are not going to become detached, till you do not overcome the sensual pleasures and, from the worldly life desires, running after lust and greed, you're never going to get the true self knowledge. You're never going to understand this. But this process, the process of purifying your heart and mind and overcoming all these attachments is very important. Until you don't overcome, you cannot get any knowledge. This is what Baba is saying here. It's all impossible, is what he's saying. One must first become free from all desires and then surrender single-mindedly to the Sadguru. I think this is exactly what I just said. Only he who has such steadfast faith and devotion is deserving of self-knowledge. Oh my God. One must first become free of all desires. Do I need to repeat this? What are your desires? I want a good job. I want money. I want to make more money. I want my, good. I want good health. My parents should be good. My children should be good. Nobody should suffer. I should have a very smooth life. I need 2 bungalows. I want to have foreign travels. I want to go travel. Anything else? Oh, I want to wear the best clothes. What else can you think of? Oh, I want to have some stock. I want some investments. I want shares. I want stock. What else? What else? Oh, I want gold. Oh my God. Endless are our desires. Can you stop it and just stop hankering and going after such things? Can you be simple? What are you going to do? Tell me. How much do you want to eat? Can you sit and eat all that wealth? No. Can you please give to this world those who cannot give back to you? There are a lot of people who don't have a square meal a day. Can you think about them? No. You're only thinking about hoarding. Why do you need to hoard? And for whom are you hoarding? Please ask this question yourself next time. Before your mind tells you, I want to buy this, or I want this, please ask, why do you need to hoard? What are you doing this for? Is there a good cause behind that? You need to ask all of these questions next time before you think of all this. And today, thanks to pandemic, all this international travel, everything is come to a standstill. But still, what are you doing with your money? There are a lot of people in this world who are suffering. They don't have money. There's a lot of challenges that's happening. Can you help them in whatever capacity that you can? Please be kind. Wealth is to establish dharma. We have learned this. Give, you will get more. So don't be greedy. Surrender single-mindedly to the Sadguru. Oh my God, this is the last thing that takes an arduous effort to happen. Okay, first is purification of your mind. Then first is the purification of your mind, second is purification of your heart, and then the surrender can happen. And surrender can only happen when you overcome your mind, ego, senses, everything. You even one dot of impurity in your heart or mind, the surrender is not complete at all. And here we are talking about Sadguru, the supreme, the Parabrahman himself. He's the highest of the masters. This is a generic term you need to understand. It is here, we are not talking about any specific human beings. Sadguru is that supreme master himself, the Parabrahman, who's manifested in the form of a guru. And Sai Baba here is talking about this great Sadguru. And here Sai Baba is being referred as that Sadguru. So you need to then surrender to that Sadguru. Only he who has such steadfast faith and devotion is deserving of self-knowledge. Steadfast faith and devotion. See, devotion is the last thing. First is absolute faith. And you need to have that conviction, that faith. Only then can you evolve. And evolve on the path of what your guru has asked you to do. The purification of mind and heart is not an easy thing. It happens over a period of time as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Reading the Satcharita and you listening itself is a purification. It's a sacrifice that we are offering to that, innermost, the divine being. We are offering the oblation of that knowledge. It's a sacrifice itself. When you listen to this beautiful satsang, that itself is purifying your heart and mind. So have that ekagrita, have that single pointed devotion. It is very important. And once you do that, that is when you become deserving. And who is the one who assesses your deservability? And that is the master himself. Once you are deserving of the self-knowledge, then he will grant you that. Moksha moolam gurur krupam. So please do not forget this sloka. Always, I'm going to keep you reminding every single time. When the 5 sense organs, like the ear, etc., give up their attachment to their respective sense objects, when the mind on its own ceases its activity of making resolves, entertaining doubts, etc., and in such a totally detached mind, when the intellect also ceases its activity of making resolves, then that is truly the highest, most excellent state or moksha, and that itself is the attainment of the unvariable Brahman. He also and none other will get self knowledge and will be truly a blessed one, whose intellect has ceased to resolve about anything and who has become self aware. You have to overcome your mind, this body, the senses, intellect, sense objects, everything, the Maya, the three gunas, and transcend beyond all that. Only then you will become eligible for that self knowledge. The self will reveal itself to you after, when it pities you, when and seeing that how much effort you have put in going through. And who is the self? Guru Sakshat Parabrahman. When the Guru is pleased with all your effort, when he's pleased with your devotion, when he sees that you're purified in your mind and heart, and once he's pleased with you, then he grants that grace where you will realize that self. That is why we say Guru is the doorway to God. Without a Guru, you cannot attain God. Hence, having once turned away from the sense object, the sense organs will turn to the Atman, and only then will blissful joy be experienced. Everything else becoming devoid of happiness. Then you lose happiness in this worldly enjoyment. That which you used to love the most will now become a painful existence for you, a painful thing happening around you. This is what is happening in my life. Everything that I think I love, sometimes it's just like I don't like this. I don't want this material world. So, you keep getting these thoughts. There's always a contradiction. You have this conflicting experiences, and then you just every day, this moment, the satsangs is what I love. I look forward to it, and then I listen to my Guruji satsangs. It's so sweet, it's so beautiful. You want to always be in that, but the challenge happens when we have to come back to the material world. We have to do our duties. Okay, there is no escapism from material worldly duties, but you have to do it being detached. That is what my Guruji teaches. Even Baba is saying the same thing. We have to all ourselves, we all have to do our swadharma, our purpose, by just being detached and not get carried away in that. You don't have to get carried away, and we need to apply these lessons, and then the material world will never disturb you. On the contrary, that will become like, okay, I just have to live it. And my Guruji says a very beautiful thing. You should become that kamal, lotus. It stands tall, though it is grown in that muck. It's not. It's the most beautiful flower which is growing in that muck. Yet it is standing tall, detached from it where it is. And that is how we have to live in this world. This world, there can be all the bad things around you, but you don't. You can stand out alone and yet shine the brightest and be the most beautiful flower, which is offered to Lord Shri Krishna. Lotus is always described with Shri Krishna. They say lotus eye. We say lotus feet. Why? Because that's very pure. It is detached from everything. It doesn't have any attachment. And we say lotus leaf. Why? Because the water touches the lotus leaf, yet it doesn't touch. It just goes off. It's untouched by that water. That is how Lord Sri Krishna lives. So that we associate him with lotus. So lotus flower or lotus leaf is such a pure thing. It's an example. The self is most subtle and difficult to perceive. Being covered by the passions and affection of the senses, it is most difficult to comprehend. Knowledge of that self is the means to the supreme bliss. Absolutely. Once you realize yourself, you're always in that blissful state. It's not happiness. Please know that happiness is only a state of mind. Okay, and being happy means you're either it's kind of a pair of opposite, because you're either happy or you're sad. Happiness is not eternal. Happiness is a momentary thing, because if you get something, you're happy, it's only for that moment, and then the same object will become in turn into a misery very soon. It's like marriage. You say, oh, she's the dream girl I've met, I get married. 3 months down the lane, oh my god, I hate her, I don't know who she is. You're calling her names, she's calling you names. So what happened to that sweet talks and happy moment, lived happily ever after? Does it ever after happens? Happily is only a momentary thing. Where is happily ever after? Oh my god, doesn't exist. It's all false, it's all fake. It's an only ideal state a man wants in life. But the true happiness is not the word happiness. That's why we say bliss. The happily ever after to eternity exists in this blissful state. Okay, and that is only in the divine, not in the human being. It's not in the senses, in the objects, in this body. Nothing. That is a state that we all want to achieve. So that is what you have to aspire for. He who is detached from everything in this world and the next, right to the desire for the most exalted position of Brahmadev, he alone is installed on the Brahmapada. He alone should be considered as liberated. Slowly, the mind must be turned back from the sense objects and fixed on the real self so as to gain self knowledge. I know what this is a very, very tough lesson. Let me tell you, let me be very honest. Whatever I'm reading here is never going to, you're not going to be able to understand. Very simply because the self knowledge cannot be understood just by mere words. It is an experience which you have to get after you evolve on the path of, when you evolve on this path of spirituality, and only the Sadguru, the real master, the true master can give you this. Nobody else can give knowledge or understanding about this. These are just in words trying to describe what it means. Baba is saying the same thing. Imagine somebody today made a joke. One of my Guruji students said, had this person given this 5 rupees, we shouldn't have gone through such a deep lesson. It would have ended right there. Why didn't he give this 5 rupees? It's funny, but it is the reason he didn't give that 5 rupees is because of this greed. And otherwise, we wouldn't have got such a profound lesson today. And it's so beautiful. How difficult it is to attain Brahma-Jnana is what Baba is teaching. And Brahma-Jnana is right in your pocket because you can't give that money. And how are you expecting a Brahma-Jnana? Nobody can get. So the example is there, that story is there so that you can learn from that. What does that story say? Please give that money to attain Brahma-Jnana. Without giving 5 rupees from your pocket, you expect Brahma-Jnana to come to you. You think you're full of greed and you're going to get the Brahma-Jnana? I'm sorry. You need to become a pauper and a beggar first. And once you can do that, then we'll think about Brahma-Jnana. Deservability comes into a factor. It is not for everybody. Only the wise can enjoy detachment from the fruit of karma in this world and the next, and freedom from the pairs of opposites like joy and sorrow. This is the true path of self-knowledge. Oh my God. It's a very simple thing, very, very easily said. From joy and sorrow. Can you ever stop feeling sorrow and also feeling joy? Can you not be attached to it? Can you have equanimity of mind? Oh my God. I'm sorry to say this. We always go through yo. Even when you're on the path of spirituality, the Guruji is going to test you dime a dozen. And in that, you're either going to feel happy or sort of painful. Oh, it's hurting me. I cannot take this. Oh, why should I go through this painful journey? Why should I, suffer this? That is how we look at it. And my Guruji has written a very beautiful update. He says, in suffering, you experience love. And that suffering is nothing. For Lord Shri Krishna, that is what it is. Mirabai was asked to drink poison, but she didn't question even once. She just drank it in that absolute faith, and that turned out in Amrit. Can you have that kind of devotion? That is the power of devotion. That is what we are talking about. See, the knowledge of self and all, you don't even bother. That's the long way. Can you just have that simple devotion? See, today we are in Kali Yuga. You can't attain all of this because man doesn't have that ability. Let us be very honest. Only the divine who manifest have or are that. Nobody else can get that. Number 2, let us only be following the path of devotion, which is very simple, and it's beautiful. I'm not saying the highest devotion of prema and all that though you are not even going to get, because even that path is very difficult. It is not so easy because you have to have unconditional love, you have to have absolute faith, complete surrender, single pointed devotion. That's the last thing after unconditional love. So here everything is conditioned in today's day and age. So we are just talking about, can you just be simply devoted and do your duty in absolute conviction and faith, and not bothering about what is the fruit of actions going to be. Don't bother about the end result. Simply do whatever your duty, your ordained duties, and then in that itself you'll attain the divine, whatever that you have to get. When you live and walk the righteous path, Lord is always with you. This is the truth you need to understand. So let's keep it very simple. This is very complicated knowledge. And now I'm going to go a little faster because I know you're getting very bored with me. Who can really be happy in the scalding waters of the ocean of worldly life, which gets heated over the flames of the Vadavanal, of the 3 worlds' afflictions, viz. Adidaivik, Adhyatmik, and Adibhautik. To be completely free from all these, be blessed by Sai's grace. Read, listen to, and reflect on his life with reverence. Absolutely, this is something I've told. You have to always keep the company of the holy, the sages, and the saints, and read about their glories and the past glories, their life stories, and talk about it. Praise the Lord. This is what you have to do. If this if this Shri Sai Charitra is heard by the listeners in the company of wife, sons, friends, and relatives, they will achieve all the good that they desire in this world and the next. Strange indeed is Baba's Leela. So true it is. He's saying when everybody in the family reads, listens, and talks about the glories of the divine, the great being, the Sai Satcharita or Guru Charitra or any other scriptures, the holy scriptures, saying it is good to this entire family, and you not only attain good in in this life but in the next as well. So such is Baba's Leela, such is the greatness of these divine beings. Only those listeners, faithful and devoted, who are fortunate, will listen to these stories. And as one listens with a tender heart, tranquility itself comes tranquil. Tranquility itself becomes tranquil. That's a very profound thing. You'll just be lost. You have to experience this. Look, I cannot describe these words. It's indescribable. That is why we say we're trying to use adjectives and trying to describe what it can be. Tranquil. What does tranquil mean? You are in that state. It's calm, serene. It's peaceful. Yeah, I can say all these words, but can you experience it? No, you have to actually experience. Just by me saying, you're not going to feel tranquil. Till you do not experience this truth, you cannot understand the meaning of these words. But it's an effort that we have to read this Satcharitra so that we can go on that path. It is important. You have to make this effort to read. And once you make that effort and once you evolve with the grace, you will get to experience that. And in that experience, you'll understand what these words meant. I cannot give you that understanding until you yourself experience that. In the flowing waters of the spring of these stories, the salt of karma, good and bad, gets dissolved, and by listening to them comes before the eyes the comely figure of Sai. Yes, you will. That then you will experience the divinity. That which you have to experience will come in front of you. Listening to Sai's story destroys all sins. By listening to his story, the listener is ready to fight and vanquish death itself, and the listeners effortlessly have the experience of the highest happiness. But you must listen with absolute intent and absolute reverence and devotion and oneness, ekagrita. That single pointed focus must be there. No, not otherwise. Listening to this tale purifies the heart. Such listening releases the listener from the birth death cycle and enables him to attain the highest state of Brahmapada merely by offering all his karma to Brahman without a desire for its fruit. So beautiful. See, just offer everything unto his feet and don't bother about the end result. That is what is mentioned here. If the Brahman has to reveal himself to you, he will reveal. Why are you bothered? Don't ask, don't ask, don't ask. And don't have any desires. Just surrender. That is what you have to do. In this way, this desire to serve Sai will render the devotee desireless forever. And Shri Sai Ram will give repose to his devotees always. Saying Baba is saying this. The Guru will always give you that repose to his devotees. He's never going to abandon you because you know what he knows? You are an ignorant being. You have taken this body. That form is a problem. Because of your bodily existence, you don't understand who you truly are. And also, my Guruji says a very beautiful thing. See, when we say somebody is bad or somebody is good, so good, we are making judgments. And then he'll say, from which life are you trying to say? See, they come with their karma and tendencies from many life. Okay, so many karmas accumulated. Oh my God, heaps and heaps, and you can't even imagine. But they, in this human life, they've donned a form. I mean, they have donned a body. It's a garment that they are wearing. But can you look at that and judge? It's unfortunate because they are not able to come out of that nature. The divine being gives them a chance. Likewise, my Guruji will always give everybody a chance to redeem themselves. But it is in their own hands. The self effort is the most important thing. If you do not put self effort, then how can you redeem yourself? So you have to make that effort to listen, to follow, to do contemplation, to be devoted, to constantly keep thinking about the divine and doing all your duties. In a clockwork precision, it is extremely important. Only then can you evolve. Otherwise, there is no other alternate to this. Oh, listeners, read at least a part of this book daily or listen to it, study it sincerely, reflect and contemplate on it ceaselessly. Baba seemed to be repeating to his devotees the same famous Taittiriya Shruti Siddhanta, which says the perfect happiness itself is Brahman. This I know for certain. This I know for certain. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 3, verse 6. Do not worry in the least. Always be full of joy. Never worry to the end of your life. That is what Baba said all the time. Do not worry in the least. Always be full of joy. Never worry to the end of your life. Can you stop worrying? We human beings are constantly worrying, and we just cannot get out of that. So stop worrying. Just be lost in the divine. Everything is going to be fine. Have that faith. And so the aim of this chapter is to ascertain the nature of Brahman, so that it will be as a boat to cross the ocean of worldly life for those who surrender to Shri Sai. Ascertain the nature. All this while, Baba has only been describing that nature, but do you think you can understand? You cannot. Only with that experience can you realize it. And once you experience and realize that, you cannot even describe it with, in any words. You just know it. That is all. I know. That is the conviction you will have, but you can never describe. It is indescribable. That is why we say the divine beings, the Brahman or any of the great masters are indescribable, inscrutable, and incomprehensible. You can never ever describe them. Baba used to follow the words of Shastras which say, render good advice to others again and again. Always be kind and benevolent towards others, and Baba acted too accordingly. Is it consistent or is it inconsistent? All these are personal differences of opinion, but this book aims at what will please and benefit the common people. See, one of the most important thing here which Baba said, Baba used to follow the words of Shastras which say, render good advice to others again and again, always be kind and benevolent towards others, and Baba acted too. I think I've said this many a time. Even my Guruji, he only teaches, he quotes from the Shastra, the scriptures. He only quotes from the scriptures and he abides by that. Okay, there is no way. We all can be imperfect. Probably sometimes we might live, sometimes we might not, but they are the perfect beings. They'll set an example. Not a single day or not a single moment can he ever speak bad or be unkind to anybody. His benevolence is on everybody. Even a sinner or king, they are all the same to him. It doesn't matter. Somebody is good, somebody is evil. Both are the same to him, and his grace is there on everybody, because they're not looking at that body, they're looking at that soul, which is the divinity itself. So that is why we have to say we have to be able to see God in everything, and only then can you be kind to everyone and have that benevolence. But when you're looking at that body, that human body is full of defects, so then you're not going to experience the truth in that. So we have to evolve to that. That has to be the aspirations, to see Lord Shri Krishna in everything has to be our goal. That should be the ultimate goal. So, and these great masters live by example, so that we at least take that lesson and follow on the path of that righteousness. That is when they will protect you, not otherwise. Such indeed is the purpose here. Baba knew the cause and effect of things and know this, and whatever was in Baba's mind would come to pass. Stories coming out of the Guru's mouth should be listened to and his inscrutable leelas experienced, and as many of them as can be remembered should be collected together and narrated to others. Oh my God, how sweet is this? I just was mentioning a while ago that we have to narrate the stories about the great saints. How did they live? What did they do? Everything is a play, everything is a leela, and it has to be gathered together, collected together, and narrated to others. That is how we will be able to purify. We will be able to redeem our sins. We'll redeem ourselves, and we will evolve on the path of spiritual, well-being. You need to understand this, very important. So always talk about the glories of these great masters. Read about the life stories of as many sages possible, because everybody came and did something, but they all taught one subject alone. In the sense, the truth is all they spoke about, and how to live a righteous life. That was the underlying principle. They never said you have to be bad or mean to anybody. They always have said you have to be good, kind, compassionate, loving, caring, forgiving, benevolent. This is the qualities they've always preached. So there is no way you can see any difference between any saint or guru or divinity for that matter. When the marvelous tale of Sai's life is heard with reverence, the sorrow and suffering of the narrator and the listeners are destroyed, bringing their days of misfortune to end. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. And today is Thursday. For me, it's the most beautiful day, because why? It is Guru War. It is Guru's day. And every Thursday we do a very special puja in our Krishna ashram. And we celebrate our Guru. Every day we worship, okay? Every day we celebrate our Guru. But Thursday is always exclusively special. And then we sing Baba's Sai Baba Aarti, we sing. So we respect that Guru. It's so beautiful. And I think I already mentioned this. The narrator and the listeners both going to benefit. You're also earning that good merit. I'm also earning a good merit along with you by narrating these teachings of Sai Baba and we're doing this beautiful Parayan, and it's saying that all our misfortunes will come to an end. That is his blessings to us. Whatever the misfortunes you might have, it'll all come to an end. Can there be one so unfortunate or as not to be dazed by Baba's wonderful leelas, or be becalmed by his mere darshan and surrender humbly unto lotus feet? Who cannot be? Who is there who will not surrender, unto his lotus feet? Or when he comes in the presence of such divine great master, can he not feel that calmness, that goodness flowing through him? Absolutely. There is nobody who cannot. Yes, there might be someone who will have a very strong mind and might not, but that is a choice. But everybody will melt when they come in the presence of these divine beings. Pure and sacred are the tales of this Sai, to be listened to with a generous heart. When such a happy opportunity to listen to them comes, who will let go of it for nothing? Wife sons are as whirlpools into the ocean of worldly life, which is infested with crocodiles of passion such as lust, anger, etc. Its water are forever rising due to the big Timingal fish various diseases and are whipped to a fury by the tumultuous hopes and desires. We are at the end of the hour, but I'm just going to finish two more words. So give me just a couple more minutes and we will finish up to verse 124, and then we will continue tomorrow. Okay? So sorry for being taking few more minutes of yours. So here again, it's very important lesson. I think we've discussed this time and again. Wife, friends, sons, the whirlpool of worldly life, the desires, the lust, greed, everything is going to come to bite you. You're going to get lost. Diseases. Here it's the Timingal fish, various diseases. Oh my God. What are we today suffering with? Pandemic. Why is it so? Because the human being does a human being doesn't understand how we should live in this world. We always do things in excess. When everything goes above your head, the water rises above your head. That's what he say, rising due to the, its waters are forever rising due to the big Timingal fish, various diseases, and are whipped out to a fury by the tumultuous hopes and desires. When a human being is uncontrollable and is completely strayed off the path of righteousness, the divine being puts something of that effect. The nature itself will make these kind of things come into existence, and then what? Then you need that, the speed, the speed bump, for you to put that brake and stop and pause, and then come back and relook at your life and then go ahead. So you have to always walk the path of dharma. Don't get carried away with this material world, the desire, lust, angry, greed. It's not required. Stay out of it. Once in a while, one is seized by a fit of vexation and sadness and is caught up in the pairs of opposites that give rise to doubt. But still, one cannot bring oneself to snap all ties with them. You must remind yourself that you are yourself the pure Brahman, held captive by your association with the physical body, like the parrot that holds fast to the perch in the cage with his feet and suspends himself head downwards, thinking that, oh, I am captive, I want to be released. But the door is open, please fly out. This is what Baba is saying. I hope you understand. So with this, we'll stop here. We'll continue from verse 125 tomorrow, and hopefully we are able to finish the chapter tomorrow. I think, yes, we should be able to finish the chapter tomorrow. And sorry for extending this. I think this is a very important lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and you have a very beautiful evening and a Guruvar. Thank you all. ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथाय श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्।